Hello my precious cinnamon rolls, my name is Fofo, and I'm here back again playing Cinders. Now there wasn't a video last week, and I apologise for that. It's a long complicated story involving the weather, bees, and bad placement of windows. But I'm not going to go into it. So, here we are back again with Cinders, and previously Cinders actually got whatever the sister's name is, I can never remember which is which, to help her cook dinner. So here it goes. So it says, it'll be nice having someone helping me with dinner for once. Sophia, that's it. Sophia, hurry up and take out all the ingredients we're going to need. And it says, why me? Isn't it obvious? I hardly step from the place, so naturally I don't know where anything is. Naturally. That doesn't mean you can't help with the preparation, though. Sophia says, I don't really have a choice in the matter, do I? There's no way you can prepare dinner in 2 hours alone. I'll be in just as much trouble if it's not done. Mother isn't figuring towards anyone. Cinder says, I figured that much out myself. Now, here are all the ingredients. Sophia says, yuck, the stench is unbelievable. Are they rotting or something? No, this is just how vegetables smell. They do grow in the soil, you know. Sophia says, sure, but I can't believe you actually live with this odour. I bet sometimes you must feel like a rather large carrot yourself, or a beetroot maybe. And says, that's very funny, Sophia. Besides, it wasn't exactly my own choice to move in here. I used to have a proper bedroom before Gloria took it. Sophia says, of course, how could I forget? Still, you should be grateful. They say that harsh conditions help to build character. You're bound to become a diamond here. Well, poor Gloria softens at every passing hour. Can't you give me a break for once? Cinders asks. If that's how it's going to look, I prefer to risk Carmosa's anger and prepare the dinner alone. Oh, fine, don't be so uptight, sis. One Gloria in this house is one too many. So, what was it like before you moved in with you anyway? Tell her. Cinder says, do you really want to know? And Sophia says, of course, we've got to talk about something, or else it'll be awfully done now. He says, you can't just admit you're actually interested in my life. Sophia says, well, if you must know, the moment we started talking, I decided to imagine you're a character from some bad romance novels, much less personal like that. He says, you're such a darling sometimes. He says, I know, right? I may not be the worst or best in the family, but you can't accuse me of lacking creativity. Let's go back to that book you're in. And he says, well, life was different with Father still alive. More carefree, although I suppose that's how childhood is. Father had a way with kids. I think he was a rather big child himself, always dreaming. I loved it back then. Sophia says, I see. How do you feel about it now? I say it was suffocating. He says, well, I loved it back then, but it hardly seems that great anymore. In a way, I feel as if I was a prisoner inside my father's childish dream, a simple fairy tale for a simple princess. Sophia says, I know what you mean. Having an active imagination is one thing, but using it without taste is something else entirely. Should be punishable too, if you ask me. And just says, he was very generous with his fantasies, my father. He sheltered me from the outside world, but I missed out on so much because of that. Sophia asks, what about your mother? Do you remember her? It says, unfortunately, she passed away giving birth to me. I still feel guilty about it, even though I know it doesn't make any sense. It says, Father told me a lot about her, but I don't really know if that's how she was or just an idealized image. Either way, I know that her death had a huge impact on him. I think he was very lonely. Perhaps that's why he preferred to get lost in his dreams rather than face real life. Sophia says, I'm sure it got even worse after we came into your life, huh? Ew, this onion is making my eyes wet. It says, give that to me, I'll chop it. If you rinse the knife first, it shouldn't sting that much. For you, I'd say my life was definitely different after you came in. Sophia says, oh, just be honest, I know your life has been miserable ever since your father married our lovely mother. Trust me, it's not like Gloria and I wanted this either. Yet here we are, one big happy family. It just says, you can be awfully cynical at times. Oh, you noticed. Fine then. Yes, my life got worse when you showed up. I'm a servant, no, a slave in my own house. Not that you'd understand. Sophia says, yes, what could I possibly know about it? Stupid onion. It sounds to me like it's your turn to talk about your life. Well, there's not much to say. And it says, that can't be true. It's obvious that a lot happened to you and Gloria. You wouldn't be like this otherwise. Besides, you said you wanted a conversation to tell me about yourself. Sophia says, fine, but don't say I didn't warn you. When we were children, we lived out in the countryside. Our house wasn't as nice as this one, though. Father was a military man. He got himself killed in some war, and that left Mother a widow. Oh, I'm sorry, Cinders says. Don't be. I hardly ever saw the man. When he was around, he was like a complete stranger, not a proper father at all. His death meant nothing to us. Cinders says, what about Carmosa? It must have affected her. Maybe that's why she's the way she is now. Sophia says, no, was that supposed to be a joke? Mum didn't care about it any more than we did. Cinders says, then why did she marry him? So Sophia says, well, why does anyone get married? For love, political gains, for many reasons. Cinders says, there are lots of reasons for people to get married. I don't think I can give one solid answer. Some do it to attain higher status, some more riches. It's always a way to ensure you aren't alone when you are old. And sometimes love, or at least mutual respect, plays a role too. You're right, Sophia says. For instance, an ugly girl like me would only attract men looking for status. They would try to climb the social ladder using my back for rungs. It was the opposite with Mother. She used her looks to attract a man of higher social standing. If you had a penchant for a melodrama, you could say she climbed his dead body to be where she is now. Carmosa comes from a poor family. They had a title of nobility, but they lost most of their riches and splendour. In order for her to advance up the social ladder was to marry, and she was ambitious. She married an officer who was relatively rich and had a lot of accolades. She probably planned ahead, even there. For all I know, she chose a man who would probably die in battle so that she could marry even higher later. This is, how can you say that? Such a cruel assumption. This is cruel. It's not like she killed him. He would have died anyway. She just wanted something more out of life. This is still a cruel thing to do. Cold thing to do, even. Sophia says, cold. Sure, it's cold. It's business. I don't see what's wrong with it. Mother's not dumb. She did what she had to. There's not much room in this world for women with ambitions, so you take what you can get. And she says, so back then, was your life as bad as it is now? Sophia says, worse. And she says, how? What? How so? Sophia says, well, you weren't around. And she says, ... Sophia says, listen, if you're not around, who do you think becomes the victim? Mother's always needed a scapegoat, and Glory would do anything to please that woman. I'm not as pretty, smart, or as ambitious as them, so naturally she humiliated me, and Mum didn't disapprove. And says, and now that I'm here, they no longer target you, is that it? Sophia says, that's exactly it. Mum and Gloria has a new scapegoat, and my life is finally a little better. He says, oh, I see. So now that you're no longer tormented, you choose to torment me instead. He says, of course, nothing personal, but it's either me or you. I certainly won't be a victim again. Sophia says, besides, you should be grateful. Didn't your father shield you from the real world too much? Well, now you get to see exactly what it's like. That's the way of all things. You're either the hunter or the prey. And as long as Mother and Gloria focus on you, I could go back to being my own worthless self. You're not worthless. Just listen to yourself. You're not worthless, ugly, or stupid, or even cruel. Sophia says, my, and what has made you an expert all of a sudden? He says, that's ridiculous. It's obvious that the person you hate the most is yourself. You have no reason to. So you make up all these excuses, like you're too stupid, or ugly, or worthless, when you know it's not true. But it's still an easy way out, isn't it? You prefer to convince yourself you're nothing, so that no one will ever expect anything more from you. You don't have to change or do anything if you're worthless, after all. Sophia says, and you sound like you're trying to convince yourself that you're all-knowing. He says, you're not worthless, Sophia. You know that. Sophia says, it's almost endearing how hard you tried to see good in other people, but you're just being naive. And she says, it's not naive at all. I was paying attention when you were talking, and I learned something important. You think you're worthless because you can't measure up to Carmosa or Glory, but it's the opposite. Carmosa is a woman of strong influence. It's easy to get drawn in and conform to what she wants. The fact that you've resisted means that you're stronger than Gloria. It means that you're stronger than Carmosa. I'm sorry you had to suffer for it, but that makes you even more admirable. Sophia says, ... And it says, you really had it rough, and I know that left a mark on you, but it doesn't make you worthless. He says, you know, I don't need your pity. He says, trust me, that's the last thing on my mind to you. You've still been absolutely horrible to me. But now that I know what happened to you, well, I just wish you knew better. Got a ting for branches. He says, listen to me closely, Cinders, because I'm always going to say this once. I am sorry. I'm sorry for everything. I'm not promising I'll change. It's better than nothing. Says, thank you. I'm glad we can speak with each other like this. Maybe it is the start of something better. Don't get your hopes up. Anyway, it looks like dinner is nearly ready, so I'm leaving, just to make sure to hurry. He says, I will. He says, see you later. He says, wait, Sophia. What? Just remember that sometimes it's easier to get through tough situations if there's someone on your side. He says, I suppose so. I wonder if I got through to her. Can't believe we actually had that conversation. That was definitely unexpected. I think I need some time to think it over. The meal is nearly done anyway. All that's left is to get one of the servants to cook the rest right before it's served. Who do you never see these servants? I mean, either Cinder's doing the skivvy work or she isn't, you know? This is, I really need to get out and gather my thoughts. Everyone is busy, so I'm sure no one will notice if I sneak out. The main hallway is empty. No surprise there. As I thought, everyone is busy right now. I don't have much time before dinner, but I'm sure I could sneak out and be back in time. All that talk about my mother reminded me I haven't been to her grave in a long time. It might be dangerous to sneak out during the day, but I don't know if I'll get another chance. I'll just have to move as quickly as I can. Cemetery. Oh, so pretty. Cinders. I don't even remember how long it's been since I visited the cemetery. Mother's grave isn't hard to find. It's guarded by a statue of an angel crying gracefully. Father's idea. When you know how much pain the angel is in, it's clear that Father took Mother's death very badly. Can't bring myself to look away from the statue. I'm sorry, Father. The grave must be in terrible condition by now. I haven't had time to care for it. Wait, the grave is clean. Not just clean, but polished as well. Someone must be caring for it. Someone says, "Step away from the grave." So he says, "Who's that?" And this well-dressed lady says, "I've had it with all you grave robbers. Fuck like you have no shame." He says, "What are you talking about? I'm not a grave robber." "Of course you aren't. And I'm the... Hold on. I know you. You're Carmosa's stepdaughter." And he says, "I am. I suppose you know Carmosa." "You know Carmosa? Of course not, but I shall know you." "Well, I guess you have an advantage over me. Then I have no idea I guess you have an advantage over me. Then I have no idea who you are." And he says, "You don't know I live in the town. Folk there call me Madame Ghede." And it says, "Madame Ghede, as in the witch that everyone talks about? So you have heard of me. The stories they tell are an exaggeration, though. Those half-wits label everything they don't understand as dangerous. Even more so, seeing as I'm a woman who's smarter than they are, I suppose it frightens them." And that's Madame Ghede's splash page. And he said, "Although it doesn't stop them from running to me any time they have a problem they can't fix. Personally, I prefer the term wise woman. It's a lot more appropriate, I think." Those people can be stupid. "People can be so stupid sometimes," Cinders says. "The instant they see something they don't understand, they fear it. It's ridiculous and close-minded." "Damn sure it is. It's a very bitter outlook on life, though. I'm sad that someone so young already sees the world that way." And this is sad, but you said the exact same thing. "I'm old and bitter, child. The world has thrown its worst at me. But you are young. You should be dreaming of doing great things, not going around calling people stupid and close-minded." And says, "So I'm supposed to be a naive dreamer just because I'm young? That's ridiculous. If you continue to argue with me, I will turn you into a toad." This is, "Wait, I thought you said you didn't know magic." "I only said the stories about me were exaggerated, but that hardly matters now. After all, it got you to stop arguing, didn't it?" This is true, but still. "Why are you here anyway? You scared me when you shouted at me." "I was just visiting an old friend. I was on the way back from picking some herbs in the forest by the lake." And says, "Oh, I've heard that forest and the lake are special. My father used to tell me that they're magical." And we're talking about magic again. And he says, "I can't help it. The atmosphere here is so mysterious. It does feel as if this place is magical." And he says, "Do you believe in magic?" "Maybe a little." "Maybe a little. My father raised me to believe, and I suppose I do miss my childhood, when I could believe wholeheartedly. There are so many strange and wonderful things in this world. Maybe magic really does exist." Madame Ghede says, "Your reasoning makes sense." This is And what? Does magic exist? "Well, that depends on what you consider magic. Years ago, people thought that medicine was magic. Some still think that way. We label things we don't understand as magic. Then what does that mean? Some people call fairies magical, but we could also consider them normal creatures who live in the world like we do. Birds fly and fish breathe underwater, but we don't consider them to be magical. What makes fairies different?" Cinders says, "Does that mean fairies really exist?" "Oh, well, it would be certainly unwise to claim otherwise while we're in this forest. Perhaps you would like to come visit my shop the next time we're in town. Tomorrow, maybe." This says, "Maybe? Is there any reason you're inviting me?" "Do I need a reason? Perhaps it's merely that I like you, or we could talk about your mother." "Wait, you knew my mother?" And he says, "Of course I did. Who do you think has been tending her grave all this time? It surely wasn't you." "So you were friends with my mother?" There, your questions can wait for tomorrow. I'm tired and I need to return home." Shouldn't you hurry home as well? You've been deep trouble if Carmosa discovers you're gone." He says, "How did you know that I stuck out?" "Who knows, maybe I saw it in my crystal ball. Or maybe it's just that I know Carmosa wouldn't let you wander around the woods on your own." "I really want to see you tomorrow," Cinders says, "but it won't be easy. Carmosa usually keeps a watchful eye on me." He says, "Well then, you'll just have to think of something, won't you? You won't get anything out of life if you don't take a few risks." He says, "I guess so. I'll try to come tomorrow." He says, "Excellent. I'll see you then. Take care of yourself." That was certainly an unexpected meeting. What a character. I definitely want to speak with her again. For now, I better just concentrate on getting home. Magic or not, the witch was right about one thing. Carmosa finds out I snuck out, I'll be in deep trouble. I'll go back home. I'll clear in the main hall. I don't hear anyone screaming my name. Looks like I made it back in time. Shady Characters. Oh, pardon me, Mom. I was just on my way out. And says, hey, I know you. You're the man who was with Tobias last night. Keep your voice low, miss. I'm trying to remain incognito here. What have you been doing here? Oh, nothing important enough to bother you. It is merely boring business stuff. Is that supposed to be a joke? Tell me you'll face the consequences. You'll tell me why you came, or you'll have to face the consequences. The Shady Characters are a little hairy lady trying to threaten me. What could possibly do to me? I seem to remember your errand here that your errand here last night was supposed to be secret. How would Carmosa feel if you broke your oath and let someone like me find out that you came here? And I have to wonder what Tobias would think if I told him you returned here on a secret errand. Do you think he'd hire you again? The Shady Character says, fine, I'll tell you, you cunning girl, you're no different from that lazy Carmosa. Only came because I had some knowledge that I figured Carmosa would pay off your coins for. And he says, what sort of knowledge? I've said enough already, I'm out of here. Well then, that was certainly suspicious. What sort of information Carmosa would consider valuable? I have to investigate more on my own if I want to know. Cinders says, I could ask someone else in the household if they know anything about this guy. Carmosa is certainly out of the question, but maybe one of the sisters? And again, I could never tell if they're on my side or not. Might be best to play dumb and see what happens. Let's ask Sophia. We were getting on well. Maybe Sophia will know something. She's always watching and listening to anything in the house. I'll go look for her. Sophia says, no, it's just great. She's not here either. I thought for sure she'd be hiding out in her room. Don't hide, Sophia. What do you do in my room? She says, Mother says dinner's almost ready, so I had to come fetch you. Where have you been? I was washing up, but I ran into a strange man on the way back. Do you have any idea who that was or what he wanted? You seem to always have a good grasp on what's going on around here. Sophia says, I usually do, regardless of what Mother and Gloria think. The stranger man came by earlier today. He said he had important information for the lady of the house. Gloria tried to send him away, but Mother ordered her to let him in. She says, do you have any idea who his information was? Well, I wasn't really invited to the secret meeting. He says, that's too bad. I was hoping you'd know a little more. Sophia says, I said I wasn't invited. I didn't say I didn't go. I managed to overhear them talking about a grand ball. Something going on at the palace, it seems. That's all I heard. She says, what's the grand ball? I haven't got a clue. This is the first time I've heard about it. She says, well, thank you for the information. She says, I don't see why you're thanking me. It's hardly an exciting secret. She says, anyway, you should hurry up and get to the dining room. Mother would maul us both if you were late. A few hours later, I'm so worn out. Of course, Carmosa would order me to help the servants wash the dishes. Wasn't much more than a servant during dinner either. Unlike the servants, I don't get paid though. Honestly, I'd rather they didn't even invite me to dinner. Picking up the leftovers is better than waiting on them. Because I had something to occupy my thoughts while I did chores. A lot happened today. First there was that talk I had with Sophia. I'm surprised that she was willing to open up to me. Usually she's so quiet and moody. She smiled at me a few times during dinner and treated me better than usual. I wonder if she's reaching out for a friend. Maybe the two of us could be friends. Yeah, why not? Her circumstances are much better than mine, really. And at least I had a happy childhood. She's been mistreated all her life. I wonder if I'd be the same with her if I was in the same situation. But even though she's rough and cynical, she proved today that she's a smart, sensitive girl and all that. If she stopped pushing me away, I think I could grow to like her. Still, the talk with Sophia is nothing compared to meeting Madame Ghede in the cemetery. What a woman! She's fascinating, but I just can't figure her out. She might look imposing, but she doesn't scare me. She feels familiar and trustworthy. It's clear she cared about my mother, otherwise she wouldn't be tending her to her grave. I should visit her in the town as soon as I get the chance, at least to thank her for keeping Mum's grave clean. And then there's the most mysterious thing of the day, that weird man coming by the house. He was with Tobias last night, and now he's back to see Carmosa. Something must be going on here. What if Tobias knew or knows why he came? Whoever that man was, he sure gets around. And how did someone like him know about the grand ball at the palace? He said that Carmosa might be interested, but I'm not sure how I see the connection. I should probably investigate. So many questions in just one day. This might be my big chance to finally change my life. But I'm too tired to think about it right now. After everything I've done today, I'm feeling so worn out I can barely stand. I'd hope I'd have time to read a book before bed, but I need sleep. Maybe I'll have more energy tomorrow. And I'm going to end this episode here. Hi, this is Fo. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, comment, and if you really liked it, please subscribe.